Happy New Year to all my subscribers, and welcome to another video. Um, this video that you're watching, you may be watching it on a brand new channel that I started, or you may be watching it on the old channel. Because on the old channel, uh, I got 2 strikes. And you guys know about what I said about why I got strikes and what happened between me and YouTube and why YouTube took down the videos on my channel. Why did they took down the videos on my channel? Well, you guys watch the previous video and you guys know all about that. So anyway, let me get into this video. Okay. In this video, I'm going to read something from the Houston Press, and it's titled, "Don't California My Texas is So Stupid." Yeah, California and Texas. I was born in California. I'm from California, and I live in Texas. So, this California and Texas state war thing, it just basically meaningless. It's meaningless. It's meaningless, and it's just a sheltered mindset thing, and it is. So you got. So I live in Texas, and people in Texas, some of them bash California. Some say California is a shithole. And yeah, they say all kinds of ridiculous, crazy stuff about the state, and they just praise the state of Texas through the roof. And here's the thing, Texas isn't that great, and California isn't that great either. I mean, when it comes to homelessness, people living in poverty, I'm gonna say people, when it comes to being homelessness, um, both states share the same problem, and they share the same problems as other states here in the U.S. So I'm gonna read this article from the Houston Press, and it's titled again, "Don't California My Texas is So Stupid." I'm blinded by the light from my smartphone. Not my smart. Yeah, I'm making this video on a smartphone, and I have a smartphone right here. The smartphone doesn't have a memory card in it, so I can't make phone calls or do anything on it. All I can do is just make videos for my channel on it. So I'm blinded by the light on it. So okay, let me get started reading this, and I hope this video doesn't get very, very long. So I'm gonna try to keep it short. Okay, "Don't California My Texas is So Stupid." It's posted by Jim Roeder. And it was posted on February the 4th, 2020. And it says here, "Don't California My Texas." If you hang out on news outlets, Facebook pages, you have probably seen this statement anytime a story about Texas becoming blue shows up. Down in the comments section, A never-ending horde of middle-aged white people, many of them holding fish in their profile pics, for some reason scream that Texas should not become California by moving left. It's a ridiculous talking point based on willful ignorance and more than a touch of racism, or at least a very specific brand of nationalism where Texas's identity must be maintained no matter the cost to its citizens. The phrase is born out of an eligible fact. Texas is seeing a lot of immigration from California. According to my colleagues over at Reform Austin, a quarter of the people who have left the country's most populous state have come to Texas over the last decade. In 2018, 86,000 people from California came here, more than the entire city of Bryan. So yes, there is an afflux of people here from the Golden State. However, it is utter nonsense to assume that every person coming here is some wide-eyed socialist hippie who dreams of high taxes and replacing Whataburgers with soy patties. Just as Texas has a lot of Democrats, California has a lot of Republicans. In 2016, 4.4 million Californians voted for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton, which is just slightly less than the number of Texans, 4.6 million, that voted for him. In fact, more people in California voted for Trump than voted, period, in 42 other states. Why would only the Democrats come here? Why would only the Democrats come here? A third of Californians voted for Trump, and you'd think that the ones who would want to come to a famously conservative state would be the ones who lean that way. Way more of California looks like the ruby red parts of Texas than you might think. Robert Evans lays out in his podcast, "It Could Happen Here," that the starting point of the next American Civil War is likely to not be in the Lone Star State, but in rural California. Like Texas, California has a rather rabid secession / patriotism movement. And also like Texas, the people most interested in it are heavily armed rural whites who dream of splitting off from the most diverse liberal cities so they can either start their own conservative governments or add Republican Senate seats to the stack the U.S. Congress. Another thing the two states have in common is a history of rabid anti-immigration statement. The Ku Klux Klan has such a strong toehold in California, mostly targeting Asian Americans, though remember, we did that too after California's Republican hero, President Ronald Reagan, resettled Vietnamese on the Gulf. that their activities ended up the basis of a famous Superman story. Trust me, there are plenty of Californians who are chanting, "Build a wall." I'm not even sure that exactly the people screaming, "Don't California my Texas," think is going to happen here anyway. A lot of them point to homelessness. And it's true, California has one of the worst homelessness problems in the country. But contrary to what a lot of conservatives think, it's not because of dissenting, gang controlled neighborhoods or drug abuse. It's housing cost being through the roof that has the biggest impact. Regardless, it's not like Texas is doing anything particularly wonderful to address our homelessness problems. Governor Greg Abbott is incorrectly telling people that we can use federal refuge resettlement money to address the homeless while his plan for ending homelessness in Austin appears to be just driving them out with dragon measures. Then there's the consistent chest pounding about taxes, with the fear that California's state income tax might come here. Texas already has a ban on a state income tax that passed last year, but it's not saving the average Texan from paying into the system more than a Californian does. The state sales tax is depletingly costly to most Texans. Our effective tax rate here, counting all state and local tax, is 12.71%. In California, it's only 8.94%. The idea that Texas is a tax haven compared to more liberal California is just wrong when looking at the amount taken out of our pockets in total. Texas actually has the 11th highest effective tax rate on a median U.S. household income. It isn't because of an influence of Californians. The saying, "Don't California our Texas," is simply meaningless. Is simply meaningless. The saying, "Don't California our Texas," is simply meaningless. It's based on stereotypes, prejudice, and a lot of bad data. Texas's shift from staunch Republican stronghold to potential swing state can't be blamed on leftist beach bums coming here. There's no affected then California is only sending us socialists, especially not when looking at their demographics, and they aren't bringing any problems we don't already have. Transplants from the West are just a new conversion scapegoat from conservative Texans to explain why their ideology is slowly losing its appeal to voters heading into 2020. Okay, yeah. Um, California, my Texas. Don't California, my Texas. Yeah, I agree. That statement is just dumb and it's meaningless. Yeah, I heard, yeah, I think, yeah, I watched a YouTube video on the CNBC website, or not website, but YouTube channel. Um, the video is titled "Don't California My Taxes," and there's some black guy who has a gun. He's conservative, um, Uncle Tom. I don't know what his name is. I can find what his name is. Hold on. Yeah, he's a black guy who has a gun. He likes to shoot, and he talks trash about California and saying that this is an open statement to everybody coming to Texas from California. Don't mess up my state. Don't California my Texas. When you leave Texas the way it is. Um, Texas patriotism and sheltered mindset. I really don't care about it. It's just silly. Yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can find this guy. Let's see. Right, Texas. Okay, his name is Colin Norn. Colin Norn. I think he's the one that said that. Don't California my Texas. We love our guns. Yeah. I'm just gonna say this. I don't give a damn about this California Texas war because I really don't. Because it doesn't mean anything. I mean, you know, people in other parts of America see this and they really don't care about it because it doesn't mean anything. It's just a bunch of silliness and it's ridiculous and it's silly. And it doesn't serve a purpose, because you have you know I live here in Texas. If you bash Texas and you bash the people of Texas, the so-called Texas patriots, people who love Texas, will come down on you, and he will. You know, you know, because it happened to me. When I remember I bashed Texas in the past. A bunch of crazy Texas people were all over me. They were just ripping on me. It was weird and it was crazy, and it happened to me on YouTube. You know, one random person will comment to me when I left a comment on a video about Texas. Then I'll respond to that person bashing them. Then another person comes and comments on me. If I bash that person, another random person comes in. Bash that person, another random person comes in. It's just complete insanity, and it's weird. Like you know, I'm gonna say this. You look at other countries. I know Texas is a state and is part of the U.S. I mean, you look at other countries. I mean, people from other countries aren't gonna say stuff like, "Don't Americanize my UK. Don't Americanize my France. Don't Americanize my Australia. Don't Americanize my Zimbabwe. Don't Americanize my South Africa." people in other countries don't say that because it's stupid. It's dumb, you know. And I look at these people here in Texas. They have this bizarre obsession with being independent. Their state being an independent country, and it was his own country, and all this crap, you know. And they never mention or bring up the fact that when Texas was an independent country, it was really bad. It was terrible. It was horrible. It was. But they'll never talk about that. All they talk about is God bless Texas and don't mess with Texas and don't California my Texas. And you got these stupid Texas people who are so proud of Texas. They love their state. I made a video about Texas. 66 reasons why Texas sucks. That video blew up. I mean, a lot of people who were commenting on the video, they agree with me. They were from Texas and they agree with me. Then you got some who disagree with me, didn't like the video. One woman talked about everybody can go back to where they come from because we're kicking them out. We're steady kicking them out. And these people, they act like they own Texas. And all they are just citizens and taxpayers. And that's all they are. That's all they are. Like, they act like they own the state. I mean, and they'll tell you stuff like, if you don't like it, get out of here. We don't want you here. And don't come back. Get out of our state. I mean, that is so asinine. I mean, you got people in the U.S. who are so super patriotic about the U.S. and they'll tell you, get out of our country, you commie. And you have so much evil and hatred and filth in your heart. And Jesus Christ transform me and God bless you. I mean, people like that are just so asinine. They say asinine stuff like telling someone to get out of your country when they bash your country and they say they don't like your country. It's so asinine. But they don't care about why you don't like they won't ask you why come you don't like it. And they don't want to hear about why you don't like it and you naming out things and problems of why you don't like a certain place. They don't care about that. They don't want to hear it at all. It's like this. I mean, it's like this. If you love this state, you're okay. If you don't like it, get out of here. Get out of our state. Get out of our country. I mean, you don't see people from other countries say that because they don't care. They don't. They don't. I mean, only in America where someone can tell someone to get out of their country or get out of their state if someone bashes it and they say they don't like it. And the worst part about it is, like, they'll gaslight you and make you out as the problem because of why the state in the country is the way it is. Yeah, I think gaslighting is just other complete bullshit. And it is. It's bullshit. It's just BS. And it is. Yeah. Yeah, Colin Norn, a so-called proud Texan, a black guy who loves his gun, who's an Uncle Tom. Yeah, and all these white Texans who praise who are so super patriotic about Texas, you know, they can all eat a dick for all I care. And I mean that. And I'm not pro California and I'm not pro Texas. I mean, California and Texas, they both have their problems. And they do. They share the same problems as the rest of the US. I mean, homelessness is not just a California thing, it's a Texas thing, it's a Commonwealth of Virginia thing, it's a Commonwealth of Massachusetts thing. It's a all 50 state thing. Homelessness, some economic problems, poverty, it exists it exists all over the United States. And these so-called proud Texans who talk about how great their state is and they defend their state if someone bashes it, you know, all they are a bunch of Republicans. They're just a bunch of sheltered minded Republicans. They're just a bunch of Republicans, conservatives with a sheltered mindset. And that's all they are. And that's all they are. They're just a bunch of Republicans with a sheltered mindset. You know, they're stuck in the box. They don't. They just. They just see Texas as the world. They don't see it as part of the United States at all. They just have a bizarre obsession with the state being a that was once an independent country, and it's big, it's vast, and the culture is great, and the people are friendly. Some idiot, some idiot dropped a comment on my video, 66 reasons why Texas sucks, and he talks about everybody in Texas is friendly, and everybody in California and New York and other places are mean and rude, and everybody in Texas is friendly. That's a sheltered mindset, and that's complete other nonsense. It's nonsense. Or as the British would call it, rubbish. Because don't get me wrong, there's some friendly people here in Texas, but not all of them are friendly. Some are mean and rude, some are walk all over you, some think they're better than you. Some have a superiority complex. I mean, that's reality right there. I mean, saying everybody in Texas is friendly is like saying that everybody in Japan knows kung fu. It's just silly, you know. And I'm from California. Not everybody in California is rude and mean. I've been to Los Angeles. I got a whip of how people in LA are. People in LA. They're like people in Los Angeles are like they're in la land. They're nuts. They're wacky. They're just out there. I ain't gonna say that all of them are like that. You know, I'm from a part of California called San Diego County, and I'm from the northern part of San Diego County, or North County. And in North County, I come from the city, or I hail from the city of Oceanside, California. You know, I want to say this, all people in California aren't rude. It's like this. You got some nice people in California. You got some rude people in California. You got some good people, and you got some dicks. Same thing with Texas. You got some good people, and you got some dicks. And it's like that all over the U.S. And it's like that all over the world. because I don't have a sheltered mindset. I used to, but I don't have a sheltered mindset anymore after going overseas to other countries. So, these proud Texans who bash California and other states in America, and they praise their state, and they put their state on a higher pedestal, and they put their damn state in front of the actual country. You know, they have a sheltered mindset, and they're just living, they're just living in a dream world, and they're not living in reality. And there's anti-vaxxers here in Texas, and they're just wacky and weird and creepy and just plain stupid. And they are. You know, hey, you know, all places aren't perfect. They have their problems, okay? They do, like I say, other countries outside of America, they have their problems. They're not far from perfect, but they're not in the extreme as it here as the US is. So, I think these hardcore Texas patriotic people, I think they need to grow up. I think they need to break out of their shelter mindset and join the rest of us in the real world and just see how things are instead of just having a sheltered mindset and just viewing Texas as the world and saying that Texans are friendly and people from other states in America aren't friendly. They need to just break out of that ridiculous, silly mindset. Because if you ask me, these people need to see a bunch of mental health professions and a psychiatrist. Because these people are far gone. And they are. So that's all I gotta say in this video. And yeah, it's a brand new year, and it's 2022. And I hope I hang on to my old channel through 2022, and I hope some jerk off don't come along and just come along and report me and have a video removed from my channel and get a strike, and this channel is completely gone, videos and all. Texas, the greatest state in America. I got some facts that can shed a light on the so-called great state of Texas. Let's see. Where do I begin? Governor Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, lifted the mask mandate to put people at risk for COVID, the virus. That was dumb. Let's see, the racist anti-voting law, which is voter suppression for black people, minorities, and the poor, making it hard for them to vote. And it's all dressed up as voter fraud, which is not true. The anti-abortion law that was passed, which stopped poor women, from getting an abortion. Rich women get an abortion. It doesn't affect them, but it just affects poor women. And it's all dressed up as pro-life. And the open carry law, where you can carry guns in public, engage in Wild Wild West shootouts at gas stations, shopping centers, fast food places. gun-toting maniacs who love their guns. Yeehaw! What else? What else? Doesn't sound like a great state to me. You know, doesn't sound like a great state to me, but you know, I'm gonna let you people decide if what I just brought out, the facts that I just brought out, makes Texas the greatest state in America. Post your comments. And on the anti-abortion law, it has like citizens becoming bounty hunters. Like for instance, if a citizen sees a poor woman trying to get an abortion, they can call the authorities. I think that's how that works, and report them, and they'll be rewarded with money. So it's like making them like bounty hunters, making regular people bounty hunters / snitches. In conclusion, both California and Texas aren't better than one another. They both share the same problems as other states here in the U.S. So, yeah, and California has a lot of problems, and so does Texas. So, in the state of Texas, people who bash California and who say this dumb phrase, "Don't California my Texas," is just utterly, completely ridiculous. And it's dumb and it's meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't serve a purpose. It's just some joke statement that people like me don't bother taking seriously because, well, people who believe that, who have that mindset here in Texas, you can't take these people seriously because, you know, those people are just a bunch of conservative, ignorant clowns who just have a sheltered mindset, and they've been living under a rock, and they've been detached from reality. So I'm not into this two-state war. It's a waste of time. There's other things that's worth talking about than this shit. So that's all I gotta say in this video. Happy New Year, and thank you for watching. Bye. Don't California my Texas. So, that ridiculous statement. So, basically, you won't, okay, people in Texas, even though their state is garbage, it's shit. So, if Texas turns into California, I mean, it's going to be even more crappier. I guess, I mean, two wrongs don't make a right. Like, Texas has a lot of problems, and I guess bringing problems from California just going to make it even worse. But anyway, both states share the same problems as the rest of the country does. So there's no difference. I mean, they're not countries, they're just states within the United States.